What's up guys, MMA World Champion Michael Chandler here. Today we're going to be doing a product review on one of my favorite products that I've been using for years, the Cutting Weight neoprene sauna suit. And for any of you wrestlers out there, any of you MMA fighters out there, anybody who's cut weight, bodybuilders, people, somebody who has to make weight, has to cut that body weight, you know what it feels like to put on the sweats, the heavy, bulky sweats, or you know what it feels like to put on the stiff, usually cold, trash bag feeling plastic sauna suits. And immediately before the workout, before the weight cut even starts, you already get into a mental state of, this is gonna suck. And it's different when you put on one of these Cutting Weight neoprene sauna suits. It's comfortable, they're flexible, they're not big and bulky, but they're also not thin and stiff like a trash bag. Neoprene with the Sweat Tech neoprene, made out of the same material as wetsuits that you surfers wear out there. So immediately, just as I'm going into this weight cutting session, I already feel like it's gonna be a much better session because I don't feel like I just put on something that's gonna be detrimental to my workout. Already, immediately, mentally, I feel better. So let's get this thing going and hopefully it's a good weight cut. First, we're gonna start off, we're gonna do a little bit of bag work in the V3 hoodie. Full neoprene, Sweat Tech neoprene from the top of your head to your waist. Honeycomb technology in the armpits. Obviously, the biggest problem with your traditional sauna suits and even your heavy sweats is everything gets bunched up in your armpits, your crotch. You don't have that with these Sweat Tech Cutting Weight sauna suits because number one, they're neoprene, and number two, in those problem areas, this honeycomb technology, you can see it's in here, it's here in the armpits, and it's here behind your knees, so you're not getting those weird problem areas. Throw this bad dog on, I'm gonna show you guys how much flexibility I have. Just a little bag work, as you can see right there. I didn't feel restricted at all. I think that's one of the biggest things when you're wearing any kind of extra clothing, whether it be sweats or whether it be a sauna suit. I didn't feel like my armpits were gonna rip out when I was throwing those big combinations. I didn't feel like the crotch, didn't feel like the back of the knees, the butt was gonna rip out of these pants. Whenever I was throwing kicks, throwing knees, flying kicks, holding all the body temperature in when I think about getting the sweat going. As you guys can see, I'm dripping, and I just did a little bit of bag work. This neoprene, man, these seams are covered up and they're soft. About 2 or 3 fights ago, I decided I was gonna wear a plastic suit and bought one of those cheap ones. Actually, I bought a nice one compared to most of the cheap ones. And the seams in my armpits, while I was trying to cut weight, made me literally go crazy. Probably one of the worst workouts of my entire life. So when you talk about seams, they left no stone unturned in the technology of this suit. All this honeycomb technology in all those perfect areas, tons of flexibility, a little bit of breathability. All right, because you gotta remember, cutting weight or getting sweaty is not about torturing yourself. It's about getting the best sweat you possibly can with great flexibility, with comfortability. If you don't like your workout, if you're not having a decent time, you're gonna have a horrible mental attitude. And that's what these guys really did. That's what these guys really help with the Cutting Weight neoprene suit. Now we're about to hit some pads, and I'm gonna introduce you guys to a new product. Just got warmed up on the bag. Now we're gonna hit some pads, hit some mitts with my boxing coach, introduce you to the V3 Cutting Weight sauna hat. As you guys know, a significant amount of your body heat leaves from your head. So in these types of workouts, these types of scenarios where I'm moving around a lot, there's a lot of motion, that means there's a lot of wind, okay? So I wanna, it's the most amount of wind that I can stop, the better. That's why this suit is awesome. It's essentially a wind resistant, wind proof. Same thing with the hat. So now I can hit these pads, do all this kind of motion, tons of motion without, number one, a lot of my body heat leaving my head, and number two, it's just gonna keep me warmer. So let's see what we got. Just got done with a good pad session. Once again, guys, freedom. I just feel like I have a lot of freedom in this suit. It's still warm, it's not bulky, it's not uncomfortable. This hat is extremely comfortable. A lot of times with your toboggans or skull caps or beanies, whatever you guys want to call them, when they're cloth, they start to move, they start to shift. And there's one thing that I hate when I'm wearing boxing gloves, trying to shift the hat around. So it's great that this thing stays kind of suction cupped to your head. It's comfortable, keeps all the air in, or all the heat in, and doesn't let air out. Now we're about to do some grappling. And don't forget, guys, when you're keeping your body heat in like this, when you're sweating like this, you're increasing your metabolism by over 20%, increasing your fat loss. Let's take this bad dog off. Number one, I want to show you how easy this transition is. Now imagine if I was taking off a nice big bulky piece of sweatshirt or taking off a plastic suit. Look how easy that is to take off. That's what's beautiful about these things. Like I said, it's like a wetsuit, but the size that you order is not suction cup to your body, so you have a little bit of movement. Right now we're about to do a little bit of grappling in this vest. Great thing about this vest, number one, I'm not as hot as I was wearing the V3 hoodie, but I'm still keeping my core temperature, my body core temperature, extremely warm. Now we're about to do a little bit of grappling. Stay tuned. Just got done with a little wrestling drilling. As I said, the V3 tights and the vest, for me, I've noticed that since they're nice and tight, they're built for speed. For workouts like that where you're hitting shots, you're doing fast grappling, you're doing live wrestling, you're doing live sparring. If you want to do a little bit slower, grappling, a little bit slower wrestling, some drilling, a good way to keep the heat in, less restricting, well, or add another layer without any kind of more restriction, because now you got to remember I have 2 layers on. I'm gonna add these V3 pants. Same thing, sweat tech, technology, neoprene, built for comfortability and built for keeping the heat in. It's gonna be a little bit looser, but still keep that heat in. For right now, what we're about to do, a little bit of slower grappling, whether you wanna drill some moves, you wanna drill some stuff off your back, you wanna drill some stuff on top. This is after a hard workout, I would throw this bad dog on, and it's keeping all the heat in. For you guys cutting weight for those BJJ tournaments, instead of wearing sweats, putting on the cutting weight neoprene sauna suit. Gives me the flexibility. I can do all my triangles, work all my stuff off my back, work all my arm bars. I can work all this stuff because I have the flexibility and I'm keeping in all that body heat during my workout. For you wrestlers, all your techniques on top, all your techniques on bottom. Seth gets on top of me. I got all my balling up, all my movements to be able to get out, stand-ups, hip heists, of all my movement. And you'll notice too, there's not a lot of water, okay? I'm sweating a ton right now. The great thing about this suit is it holds in the heat and it actually sucks up a lot of the water. So when I'm hitting my elbow, when I'm doing this, I'm not sweating all over the place. There's not sweat coming out of my pants. There's not sweat coming out of all these openings, okay? Because the suit is actually soaking up a lot of it. So what does that mean? Number one, your sweat is staying on you. It's a little bit heavier and it's staying warmer. So you're keeping the body heat, you're keeping your body temperature, sweat onto your body, onto the suit. And I'm not getting it all over my partner. I'm not getting it all over the mats. We just grappled here for like 10, 15 minutes. There's not a big bunch of sweat puddles like I've had in the past with sweats, because sweats are right here, gets water all over the place, or with my sauna suit. So, how's it feel? As my partner, how does it feel whenever I'm on top of you? Do you feel like this is soft? Do you feel like it's flexible?
It's not uncomfortable at all. It's slick. It's just something easy for me not to like get my hands caught up in.
Good. So you get a little bit of grip, but not a ton of bulkiness. I've had more fingers, and actually my ear. I ended up with cauliflower ear one time because my ear got stuck and rolled up and wrenched in my partner's sweats. So as fighters, as wrestlers, as MMA fighters, as anybody who has to do any kind of hand-to-hand combat, you want to mitigate those types of risks. That's why we don't do a lot of wrestling and grappling with pockets. As you see, he doesn't have any pockets on him. You don't want to rip off your fingers, get your eye caught, get your ears caught. All around, awesome suit. Guys, remember this review was done as a former wrestler turned MMA fighter. So everything that I'm doing is based upon A, getting great workouts, B, functionability of my workout equipment, and C, a lot of grappling, a lot of kickboxing, a lot of boxing, a lot of wrestling. But if you are not an MMA fighter, if you are not a wrestler, these suits are extremely beneficial for your everyday workouts. As I've already said, colder climates, throw on the hoodie or throw on the pants, throw on the tights underneath a pair of joggers, throw on the vest underneath any kind of shirt, and you're gonna keep the core body temperature in, you're gonna keep that metabolism high, keep that fat burning at a high rate of speed. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of glimpse of the versatility of some of the explosive movements that I can do with this workout suit, whether it be dumbbells, whether it be med balls, whether it be box jumps. Show you guys some athletic movements in the Cutting Weight Sweat Tech neoprene sauna suit. Oh, just got a nice little circuit workout in. Little did you know, wearing that V3 tank underneath the shirt, t-shirt, couldn't even tell it was there. Wearing the V3 tights. It really just looks like a pair of tight pants, a pair of spats, whatever you want to call them. So I was able to keep my body heat in. And as you guys saw, back squats, rower, some med ball squats, all kinds of dynamic movements with these leg compressions on, with this leg Sweat Tech sauna suit on. I had basically no restriction. I felt like I was just working out in shorts and a t-shirt, so I was able to keep my metabolism high, keep burning that fat, sweated a lot more than I normally would. We got these fans going, which I normally don't like when I'm working out, but for you guys and gals that are lifting weights, you can't choose what the temperature is at 24 Hour Fitness, at your local CrossFit gym, at your local gym. If it's in winter time, it could be 60, 50 degrees in there, depending on whether or not the landlords or the owners want to kick the heat on, right? We've all been in those types of scenarios, so being able to throw on, or even just keep this in your bag, whether you want to use it or not. A lot of times too, I'll just use it for a warm-up. I'll throw this vest on, or I'll throw my V3 hoodie on, or my tight compression shirt on, my V3 tight compression shirt, to lock in that body heat, get my heart rate up, get my metabolism kick-started, get the sweat started. Once I get that sweat started, it's usually not hard to keep it going, so I can throw it off if I really wanted to. But like I said, today was a little chilly in the gym, so I'm glad I had the V3 tank on. All in all, I give this product a 10 out of 10. It really has been awesome for me, not just as a wrestler, a fighter, a guy who needs to cut weight, but just a guy who is constantly in the gym. For you gym rats out there, it's a great product to put on and add to your arsenal. Check them out, cuttingweight.com, cutting with a K.